Game. 4th and goal. And they're going to snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles, touchdown.
In front of the letters, nods yes, the wind, the 1-2 pitch. Swinging a ground ball left side, Castro's got it, spins, throws, he got him! A perfect game for Roy Halladay! 27 up and 20.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Trending for Four Quarters right here on DSM Media. Got a jam-packed show tonight. Got to introduce the players. We got Dylan right here. Later on the show, we'll have JD joining us. But we got to introduce – I like to call him – I like to say everybody's the star or the best of all time or whatever when I have a guest on the show. But I'm going to introduce Vince a little differently. The hardest working man there is. This guy is on WIP, CBS Sports. He's on Last Out Media. This guy's getting text messages 40 times a day from Dylan, okay? He's on WIP at 2 a.m. sometimes, 4 a.m. Dylan, or Vince, welcome to the show. But when do you sleep, dude?
I find my moments, you know. I got to tell you, I legitimately have had, like, for the past couple of years, it's like, all right, I could sleep 6 hours here, 3 hours here. I'll do this for a little bit. So, like, it's all over the place, but hey, we got free time. I'm jacked up, obviously. Like, I am super excited to talk Eagles. So as long as I'm awake, let's ride the wave, man. Let's go.
Well, everybody, welcome to the show. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube, you hit that subscribe button, Twitter, follow, turn notifications on everywhere. DSM Media, it's the takeover time. There are literally 8 shows a week, 8 great guys that are putting in massive amount of effort, to build this, channel up. So make sure you're tapped in everywhere. Vince, Dylan, let's get started. Today was the first day of camp, first day of practice. They even went full 11-on-11 today. I know you watched every video, Vince. I know you saw every tweet and every article. First overall reaction, but first thing you saw that jumped out at you, that really surprised you or caught you off guard.
Well, yeah, the thing that I loved, it was a small thing, but I thought it was awesome, was Sirianni. So they asked him, you didn't practice the rookies before all the veterans showed up. What was that about? And he was basically like, well, the rookies get tired, So if you're practicing for 2 days and you're doing it in the summer, these are your first workouts before the vets get there, then these guys are at a disadvantage, Like, you've got rookies that are tired playing against veterans that are in better shape. And for him to be like, no, I want a level playing field. I want this to be as even as possible. That's great. It's a little thing that shows it's a guy that's paying attention. And so to see that little thing, and I'm just like such a Sirianni guy. I'm like such a fan. So that was one of those things I was like, all right, this guy gets it. And I'm curious to see what else he comes up with, because obviously he's going to say crazy stuff during training camp here.
I think that's a great point, because actually, yeah, I wrote a bunch of notes down from the interview from today, or the press conference from today. And yeah, I wrote down a lot of the common things he said, but that really stuck out at me because it's something different. You don't hear other coaches talk about that at all.
No. And it was like, oh, okay. Like, I've never thought about that in my life. Honestly, I could watch football for another 50 years and I would never even consider it. It's just what happens. It's always rookies first, then the vets. So it was like, oh, okay. As long as he's not like Chip Kelly crazy and he's just like a controllable kind of crazy, I think we're going to be okay.
I'm pretty sure that might be the first person in over 15 months of doing shows. Chip Kelly is on the banned list. There's Chip Kelly, there's Carson Wentz. We're not allowed to talk about 2 certain names on this show. And you just ruined 15 months of no Chip Kelly talk.
Hey, well, speaking of that, did you see Wentz isn't vaccinated? Let's just get into the hot topics here. Well, I'm gonna break the ban. We're gonna get into hot political issues. We're gonna go nuts tonight.
So I'll let you get in on this, Dylan. But you bring up with all the rookies and stuff like that. But Kayvon Wallace and Davion Taylor, they were getting a lot of the first-team reps today. And I understand Kayvon Wallace because McLeod's not ready to practice and all. But to both of you guys, you Vince first and Dylan, jump in. Are you excited to see those guys getting those first-team reps? And how important is it that they get those reps?
I love it. Like, I honestly, I think it's great. And that's part of this whole thing, like looking at the vibe of the team and just being excited for this year's training camp. Everything's new, you know? So, like, all the baggage of all the guys, I'm throwing it all out the window. Let's be real. Like, Jim Schwartz sucked. Doug, for the last 2-3 years since Frank Reich left, Doug sucked. Like, the offense was not good enough, you know? So, with a whole different coaching setup, I'm excited to see what this is. I'm excited to see what they do with the young guys, what positions they're playing, how all that shakes out. I saw they were playing some 3-4 today, which was like, whoa. So, I mean, we haven't seen that since Chip Kelly, defensive coordinator, Billy Davis. So there's two. I'm going to see how many times I can work in Chip. But
never invited back on the show.
I'm trying to get banned like my man Chip Kelly and Carson Wentz. So, I looking at all the young guys, seeing them get snaps like that, it was like, man, I think this is awesome. Give them all the snaps. Let them compete. Let's see what happens. Let's go.
Yeah. Dylan, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, they are a very youthful team, and you know, there's going to be growing pains this season when you throw out Davion Taylor and the Kayvon Wallaces of the world on this defense. So why not get them out there on day one with the first team? I mean, they were attacking everything, guys. They were attacking the offense. They're going to go attack their rest. So it's going to be really fun.
I'm attacking his beer right now.
Yeah. That's all you're drinking. You both are drinking beer. I got something.
Yeah.
It's clear, so I won't tell you what's in this glass. Okay.
All right. We will.
They don't sponsor me, so I'm not going to promote their brand, but it's clear, and it's a lot stronger than your beer.
No, but in all seriousness, Kayvon Wallace, I am excited for. The Davion Taylor thing kind of caught me by surprise. I know Alex Singleton is out with COVID protocols, I believe, so far. But to see him out there ahead of, you know, I'm pretty sure he was paired with Eric Wilson with the first team. So to see him ahead of the TJ Edwards and everything was a little shocking. But I had mentioned it earlier, and I'll throw this to you guys. Do you think there's a role specifically for Davion Taylor in this linebacker group because he is the most athletic? The one thing that this linebacker core has right now is they're all good run-stopping linebackers. None of them are very good in pass protection. Davion Taylor, with his speed and athleticism, do you think that's why he's getting first-team reps right now? Because they're just trying to find a linebacker that can play a little bit in protection.
Yeah, oh, no doubt. I mean, it's part of just seeing a guy of that kind of athleticism. Like, one of the things that's killed the Eagles over the past couple of years, Malcolm Jenkins leaving. Like, that was devastating. I mean, to have a safety that could come up and play linebacker, he would blitz, he'd cover tight ends. Like, Malcolm Jenkins was the truth. And people seem to forget that. So, like, if you can get a guy, because looking at Davion Taylor and what he can do, if he can stick up on tight ends at the very least and lock that down, and occasionally with that athleticism, you can get him the blitz here or there, that'd be a huge win. I mean, what a win. So for them to at least believe in him enough to get him some extra looks early, these first-team reps early, that feels great. So I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, I kind of want to say two parts of that. One, I agree. I think Davion Taylor, I actually think he can, maybe not week one, but I think at some point he could be the one of the starting linebackers on this team. We got to remember, I know you Dylan hear me say it all the time. This is a rebuild, but not really. It's a retool. Okay, we're trying to have a quick rebuild here, but you got Davion Taylor, you got Kayvon Wallace, you got Jalen Reagor. I still consider all of last year's rookies this year. Yeah. There was no camps, there was no OTAs last year. These guys had minimal time to gain anything. You got a new coach, so you might as well, if we're retooling, yes, we're positive. We think there could be a good outcome this season, but a lot of the signings that they made in this offseason were one-year prove-it type deals. There's no long-term commitment to any of these guys. So if Davion Taylor comes in and outperforms or performs good enough to get a job, why not throw him out there a lot this year to see what you have? You know, Eric Wilson's not going to be here next year, hopefully, or maybe. I don't know, depending on how he does and all. So you want to see what these rookies have. So you throw them out there.
Well, yeah, and here's the other thing, too. I mean, you got to think about how much this team could change within a year. I mean, it could change in the next couple of weeks. Like, part of the benefit of this of being such a young team is, and having all the picks that they do, is they can do whatever the hell they want. I mean, there's no conversation you can have that they're not a part of. Can they get Aaron Rodgers? Absolutely. After this year, why not? Can they get Deshaun Watson right now? Obviously, it's being talked about all the time. If Russell Wilson pries loose, for whatever reason, because that's been a thing. Like, they can go and get Russell Wilson. They can do that. So that's, $35 million that you're throwing on the books. You don't want commitments, So I think it sets them up where they can play these young guys, see how everything works out. You can sign certain players. You keep riding that salary cap wave. And then if you want to make big splashes based on what this team does, you can fill any hole you want if the right player is available. So, that's the best thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so Phil, the last thing on all this with the young guys and Kayvon Wallace and Davion Taylor getting first team reps, it's still day one, so who knows how things change. But the one thing that I do like about this new regime so far on day one is the fact that in previous years I feel like Rodney McLeod's out. I don't know. Marcus Epps is getting first team reps next to Anthony Harris. Alex Singleton's out, another place holding. Older, aging linebacker who's not really any good and doesn't have more upside than Davion Taylor is getting those reps. This year, they're just kind of feeding, not feeding, but throwing the young guys out there early and just letting them grow all throughout camp and not wasting time with the Marcus Epps of the world.
So we talk about Kayvon Wallace, we talk about Davion Taylor, and all this stuff happening that, whether it was surprising or not, we were excited about what we saw. On the opposite end of the equation, Andre Dillard getting the first team reps at left tackle definitely put everybody in an uproar. Now, on one side, I'm uproar on it as well, but on the flip side of the equation, I've preached on so many shows on Twitter that Howie Roseman is going to stick to the people he drafted, especially the ones, higher value. I keep saying Jay Jaw has a leg up potentially if he even has a good camp because he was a second-round pick. Andre Dillard, unfortunately, might have a leg up on Jordan Mailata because he was a first-round pick. And if they can't trade him, Howie Roseman hates to admit when he's wrong. Was that surprising? Am I on the right thought process there, Vince? Or?
No, you're not. You're completely wrong on Andre Dillard. Right. Because here's the thing. I'm sorry, okay? So here's the thing. One, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. They love offensive linemen. If Absolutely. Dillard is worth playing even any level of a competition against Mailata right now, that's great. I mean, you just want offensive linemen that can play. So to have him, if he becomes the backup, fine. If he loses the camp battle, that's fine. But, I mean, the other side of this is, and this was the weirdest thing for me with Dillard, because I've heard it a million times. You guys have heard it a million times. Hey, this player, best shape of their life, they're refocused, all this stuff. But, when Dillard had that press conference in the offseason, I got to tell you, the number of beat writers and all that were like, no, he actually seems like a totally different dude. That was like, whoa. You know what I mean? Because you never hear that. You hear the story reported. You don't hear anybody else actually believe it. So when that many people are like, yeah, this is a thing, then I'm looking at it like, all right, maybe he is a new guy. You got a new coach. So it's a whole new clean slate, whole new coaching staff. So does he have a shot? I hope. And if it turns out that he's better than Mailata and he wins the job, think of the depth on this offensive line. Think of the things they can do. Those the three tackle sets that the Eagles have run in the past. Maybe they decide to add some of that heavy running game. Now you can really do some wild stuff. So having that kind of depth, having that kind of ability, I love it. I
did not get to see my wish last year, but based off of the way you describe it, can we get Jordan Mailata in the running game?
Yeah, it's about time.
I just want to see Jordan Mailata get one run along the goal line. That's all, or short yardage play. I mean, the guy, if you watched his rugby highlights, the dude can run up the middle. No one's going to tackle him.
I know. I literally, this was like 5 years ago, whenever they added Mailata, I was writing articles here and there on WIP's website. And I literally wrote an article that was just, please hand Mailata the ball. So I'm 100% with you on that. They'll never do it. But just one play. I'm with the same way Warren Sapp caught passes in the end zone as a tight end once. J.J. Watt did that a couple of times. Give me tight end Jordan Mailata, and let's see what happens there.
So what impressed you more? And Dylan, I want to get your thoughts, Dylan, on Mailata versus Dillard. Yeah. But what impresses you more? The thought of Jordan Mailata as a running back or the old college videos of Jason Peters as a tight end? Because there's some pretty impressive videos of him playing tight end.
Is this to me or to Vince?
It was to Vince because
okay.
He brought him up as a tight end. I had to say that.
Yeah, well, you know what? Let me say this. I love the fact that Peters was an undrafted tight end and obviously made that switch. And so, of course, he's going to do some crazy stuff. I mean, the guy was one of the most ridiculous athletes that's ever played the sport. But here's the other thing. Speaking of guys switching to tight end or switching out of tight end, put Arthega-Whiteside at tight end, man. If he's not going to make the team, give it a go. How many times, like, Richard Rodgers is fine. He's a guy. But if you like Arcega-Whiteside enough that you're going to put him on the outside to block as a wide receiver, put 10 pounds on him. Have him play tight end. Like, what is the harm? So if he's going to get cut, that's the kind of thing I'm looking for. But who knows? Maybe he does have the Howie inside track. We'll have to see how that plays.
Jay Jaw's making the team. Let me just tell you, me and my boy George, who watches every show across the pond, you know, we will both tell you, Jay Jaw's got a leg up more than you guys think. You know, Dylan, thoughts on the Dillard Mailata situation there today at practice?
Yeah, I'm with you. I said it last week, and maybe this is just me pushing my hateful Howie agenda on everybody. But listen, I'm not
positive. Didn't you come out today on Twitter saying you're going to give every Philly fan a hard time for being so negative?
Oh, well, I was talking about, you know, Flyers and Phillies management.
Oh, so hard time on the Eagles doesn't count.
Yeah. No, I'm optimistic on the Eagles right now. Like, I stepped outside today, first day of training camp, and it was like a breath of fresh air. I was skeptical, but now, you know, we might make the playoffs. Who knows? But when it comes to the Dillard Mailata thing, I'm not down there. I don't know. Maybe, like Vince said, maybe Dillard, is deserving, and maybe he is competing with Mailata. I have no idea. Maybe he did add that muscle, and he is a changed guy. My whole point with the Howie thing is the fact that, you know, he is going to push this first-round draft pick down your throat, whether you like it or not. He is involved in day-to-day operations, who dresses, who doesn't. We heard all about it last year, and like you said, Phil, and I know we talked about it last week, and it was like, okay, well, it's a win-win because either Dillard pans out as the first-round draft pick, he was right, or you found a diamond in the rough with Mailata, and he was right. First-round draft pick's more important. You invested all that capital in Andre Dillard. Again, I'm not saying he's not deserving, but I just think that's why today, on day one, he already got more. He got the first team reps over the guy who, you know, showed something in games last year.
All right. So I know we only had 20 minutes. You got about an ounce of beer left in your cup. So I got to get one.
It's embarrassing to leave this much sitting in a glass after
you're just waiting to end the show with that last sip. So I'm jumping to the second page of my agenda here because I do one or two poll questions a week. And this one got so many back and forth responses from people. Yeah. And you brought up his name, both their names earlier in the show. So I've got to bring it up before you leave and get your opinion.
Okay.
All right. You've got, in the offseason, one of two choices. And this is legal issues notwithstanding. Set them aside for Deshaun Watson. What would you prefer? 4 years of Aaron Rodgers, a surefire first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback, or 10 years of Deshaun Watson, who has the potential to be that good, but hasn't won any big games yet? What would you take if you had to take one or the other on the Eagles or any other franchise?
Yeah, I'm taking Watson, and I'm not thinking about it. I mean, really, I love everything about Aaron Rodgers. Before Mahomes, he was the greatest quarterback I've ever seen. I mean, legitimately, he's amazing. But, like, Watson's ridiculously good. I mean, think about this, right? 2017, we talk about Wentz all the time. He was going to be the MVP. The only reason Wentz was going to be the MVP that year is because Deshaun Watson got hurt. So let's not forget that. Like, Watson was that good, and that was his rookie year. He was on track to win the MVP. He's that good of a player. He's winning a couple of games with some of the worst rosters we've seen with terrible coaching and all that different stuff. I mean, that is one singular guy that can carry a franchise. So from a football, because again, we're getting all the weird stuff around him and we're throwing that away in the scenario. So when you're looking at that, if you're just getting the player for 10 years, that's the easiest decision you've ever made. I mean,
the way I look at it, and I'm going to get my opinion out more detailed later on in the show when we bring this back up. I think your percentage, I only care about one thing: winning Super Bowls. I've only had one in my 40 years of existence. You know, not as, you know, many years of losing as you guys, you know, or more years of losing than you guys have had. I think you have a better chance of winning one Super Bowl in 4 years with Aaron Rodgers than you do in one. If you had to put a percentage on it, 1 year, 1 out of the 10 years with Deshaun Watson, because you know what Aaron Rodgers is. You know what Deshaun Watson is in the regular season. Has he really? He never went really, you know, deep in the playoffs or anything like that. I don't know. I just think you have a slightly better chance of getting one more chip with Rodgers than Watson.
Well, how far? Because I know they played that game against the Chiefs, and they put up 26 in the first quarter.
Yeah, they blew it.
And then they lost it. They were down at halftime. So, like, whatever that was, maybe that was a divisional round game. But, like, he's a guy that I wouldn't doubt his ability to win playoff games. It's just, you know, Bill O'Brien sucks. The team had flaws, whatever. So if I got 10 years of that guy, I got enough reason to believe he can do it. It's just, can the Eagles put a good team around him, and can Sirianni coach? I mean, that's the biggest question for now. But just talent alone, yeah, I'll buy that any day of the week. I mean, like, think about this too. In the next 5 years, he could be legitimately the undisputed second best quarterback in the league behind Mahomes. Like, Rodgers is retired, Brady's retired, Wilson is like 38 at that point. Like, it's Mahomes and Watson right now.
Yeah. Okay, I can buy that 100%. I know you got a beer to fill up there and get off. You're welcome back on DSM Media anytime. You know, even later tonight, if you sit around, you're like, I had enough beer and I want to come back on the show. Link's still active. You're more than welcome to join us. Again, we've got Vince Quinn here on DSM Media, WIP, CBS Sports, Last Out Media, the hardest working guy in the Philadelphia sports media. That's how I will always describe and intro this man. Vince, thanks for coming on Trending.
Hey, yes, Phil. Appreciate it. Dylan, I mean, it was okay.
Wow.
Love it.
Love it. So I'm going to finish this in honor of my good friends Chip Kelly and Carson Wentz, fellas.
Hey, cheers. Thanks for coming on. All right. Let's get JD in here. And what's up, JD?
In the wind.
Yeah, he's sitting there waiting. You know, the standards of the show went from Vince Quinn with us, Dylan, to JD with us. Man, we just dropped 15 viewers live when JD's face popped up on the screen.
Listen, man, it happens. It happens.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. Before we get back into the Eagles, you know, specifically, Dylan, JD, you both heard what Vince just said. They're both he's taking, you know, Deshaun Watson for 10 years over Rodgers for 4 years. I'm taking Rodgers for 4 years. You know, Jason's checking in saying Rodgers. You know, we've got a lot of different, you know, opinions on this. And let me tell you something. When I put that question out there, I didn't even put polls. Man, the comment section was just blowing up on that poll question there. A lot of differing opinions. We'll go JD since you just got here. What would you take of those two options?
You know what I'm doing. I'm taking the young guy. I'm taking the guy from Clemson who's a proven winner. I'm just gonna do it. Dude got kicked in the eyeball and threw a touchdown. Like, it's not close. I mean, after the legal troubles, if you got them for 10 years, no matter what happens, and whatever his purgatory is gonna be, for whatever he did or did not do, it'll been and ran its course by that point. So let's say you has to do 2 years of purgatory, NFL purgatory, or he gets canceled for 2 years or whatever. He can still come back and play football. And at that point, he's not going to get any slower. He's going to continue to train. I think he's light years ahead of just about everybody else that was drafted with him, and that was drafted before him. So, except for Patrick Mahomes, and I think that's what we're looking at. We're looking at Patrick Mahomes and then Deshaun Watson, and depending on who gets drafted where, it could be flip-flop. You know what I'm saying? So,
I remember the playoff game that Quinn was bringing up there, where Mahomes and Watson were going head-to-head, and they were talking on the broadcast that this is like the next 15 years of the NFL. Yeah. You're going to see the two of these guys competing in the playoffs, and depending on playoff seeding, whether it's in the first, second, or third round, every single year for the next 10 or 15 year.
Well, not if he becomes an Eagle. If he becomes an Eagle,
it'll be a Super Bowl bust every year
in the Super Bowl. It's tough. I agree. Like with the stance that Vince made, like, you know, a couple years down the line from now, he may be, you know, 1B. He may be the second best quarterback in the NFL, and he does, you know, potentially have the ceiling to get to an all-time great. He has the tools. He's 25 years old, but I got to side with you, Phil. I think, just percentage-wise, you know, we're trying to win a championship, whether that's in the next 4 years or over the next 10 years. And, yeah, I guess you could say, well, with Watson, you know, you have better odds of winning 2 to 3 in 10 years than more than one with Rodgers in 4 years. But, you know, I can't worry about winning multiple Super Bowls. I'm just trying to get to the first one. And with Aaron Rodgers in 4 years, you have a higher percentage of winning a championship than you do.
I think the way you're saying it, does this sum it up better maybe, that it's Watson winning 1, 2, or 3 in 10 years is not as sure of a thing as Aaron Rodgers winning 1 in 4.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the way I look at it.
I don't know. Look at that team though. Like the team that the Eagles have now, as they are currently constructed, even if you put Aaron Rodgers on this team, you're not necessarily.
But we're not worried about this year. I'm more focused on next year. We got $50 million in cap space. We got 3 first-round draft picks. You trade those picks for Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson. You make moves on this team. A lot of These 1-year deals come off the books. So much changes. You can, again, I know Dylan likes this term, retool. It's not a rebuild. It's a retool. This team by next year could be a contender in the NFC. Whether it's with Jalen Hurts, Deshaun Watson, or Aaron Rodgers, they can be a contender next year.
I mean, listen. All right, go ahead, JD, real quick.
I was just gonna say, like, I get what you're saying, Phil, and I agree with that completely. 100. But I guess my devil's advocate part of that is you're doing that with the expectation that Sirianni can handle Aaron Rodgers, or that he won't get railroaded when he comes here. You know that he has a very polarizing attitude. It's not like he's a walk in the park.
George bringing up a great point.
Exactly.
Rodgers only has 1 ring in his career.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, but then the counter is Deshaun Watson has 0, and I know he's a lot younger, but he's never been there. He has 0.
Listen, only thing I'm saying is Deshaun Watson's best weapon was traded away for a bag of now-laters and some Skittles. Like, that dude was traded for absolutely nothing.
Listen, and I see the comments.
I'm going to devil's advocate my own opinion here. Deshaun Watson obviously has buku baggage right now, and that's why I said legal issues notwithstanding and all.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers got a lot of baggage too. I mean, he's pretty much.
He does.
I don't want to call him a crybaby right now in Green Bay, but he's not a team player per se. I mean, he's fighting to get Randall Cobb at 47 years old back on the team. Actually, I think that trade went through. I mean, Randall Cobb's I think he's got more replacement parts than the $1 Million Man did.
Yeah.
Steve Austin. Okay.
I mean, I gotta just address the comments here. I love the enthusiasm and excitement from Mustaine over here, but I could not.
That's a reach, Jason.
He said,
reach.
Like up above, he said you have just as good a chance to win a Super Bowl with Hurts as with Watson, in my opinion. I couldn't disagree further. Jalen Hurts literally has played 4 games in his career where defenses have figured him out in the second half of games. He's so unproven. Deshaun Watson's a top proven quarterback. I know that he keeps saying you don't need a top 5 quarterback to win a Super Bowl, and that's true, but that's if you have like a dominant defense with you. Like Jalen Hurts is not on the same, Super Bowl level as Deshaun Watson right now. It's a different team.
Well,
I'm choking up about this conversation.
It's a different team, man. It's not this year's.
But I will say this, Dylan. So I will agree with you on, like, they're not the same, but we also don't know if they figured Jalen Hurts out for real. Because the game.
I didn't say they figured. I'm just saying in the second half.
You know what? We're going to get back into the Eagles, specifically. Jalen Hurts last year dealt with 75 different offensive line coordinations or combinations in his 4 starts. So, and that gets back into the Eagles and the Nick Sirianni press conference today. And I mean, his exact quote, I can't find it on my notes here, but when he was asked about Hurts being number 1, he talked about all different things, but he clearly indicated, the quarterback success has to do with the offensive line health. And if Brandon Brooks and Lane Johnson and Kelsey are 100% all year, if Dillard and Mailata lock down that left tackle position, if you've got some form of Seumalo and Landon Dickerson, holding down that left guard position, it's a whole different ball game for Jalen Hurts. For any quarterback, Nick Foles, you could throw out there. You could throw Dylan out there. If you've got a top 5 offensive line, you might be able to get a pass or 2 off.
Hold on, real quick. I know you're moving forward. I didn't say he's not the answer. I'm saying you don't know that he's the answer, and we know what Deshaun Watson is. That's what that conversation is about. Moving forward.
But I will say this to Phil. Am I echoing?
Don't worry about it. Just keep talking.
So in my estimation, you can take Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts' stats last year, he didn't get sacked a whole lot, and that's because he can move. But we saw Wentz get sacked a lot last year.
Jalen Hurts still got sacked a lot in the 4 games.
Yeah, he got sacked a lot, and he actually had more
turned the ball over
more turnovers per game than Carson Wentz, and Carson Wentz was turning it over. So it was great. You Pittsburgh people don't watch a lot of Philly.
I have no choice but to watch this shit. That's the only thing they showed. Like, I had to watch a shit
called NFL Network or the NFL package or whatever the hell it's called. I'm
not buying that. I just wait till I go.
Red Zone's the greatest thing God ever created.
Absolutely.
Well, Red Zone, it's good for, like, if you got fantasy. I guess whatever. But I want to.
And George is bringing up that the offensive line wasn't very good in Houston. Also, I mean that's very true as well. You know?
That's fair. He may be being slept on. I'm sleeping on him. Hopefully, I hope I'm sleeping on him and I'm wrong about him. I'm just saying.
My man Peanut checking in that Hurts made the O-line look better than it even was. That's bad to say that, Peanut, because the offensive line looked bad last year, and if he made them look better, imagine how they would have looked if you had somebody that couldn't move behind them.
Yeah.
So
that's what I was saying. That's the point I was making, guys. Is that
I got you.
And he wasn't getting.
We're
It
cool.
looked like Carson Wentz was stuck in the mud. That's
the
what
biggest. The biggest thing, to go to your point, Phil, about him, how he will play behind that offensive line if they're healthy. It's 100% true, and everything around him will be better. The thing that I'm looking for from Hurts behind a healthy offensive line is to see that he doesn't bail on a play too early behind a healthy offensive line. He doesn't have some sort of, I'm not saying he does at all, but sort of PTSD from the final 4 games of last year, and he just starts bailing.
But here's the thing, though. You don't have to rookie and young quarterbacks are going to bail quicker.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So
especially when he was able.
You might see some bailing in week 1, 2, or 3. But by week 5, 7, 8, if he's still bailing then that's when you have to have some concern.
Right, especially when they can get away with it at the college level, so then it translates to the NFL early. I'm not saying he's going to. I was just saying, it's I'm looking for that.
We're going to get into George gave me a mailbag question for later in the show. We're going to get into that, on a success, how to judge it. That's a way you could judge Jalen Hurts' success. How quickly he's bailing on plays.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll get that. What I want to get back to the first day of practice today.
Yeah.
The first day of camp, and a lot of comments of people overreacting and not overreacting. And I said it on Twitter, and I say it again. We have such a bad foul taste from week 1 or from last year that we just can't wait to get it out of our mouth. So we're craving any positivity that the reporters or the fans are tweeting about today. So with that said, there were some interesting comments about the connection between Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith. Did you guys see any of the plays, any of the highlights, the comments? 3 straight plays when they were running red zone, Hurts was going right to Devontae Smith. So there's an obvious connection there. Dylan, is that connection already locked in that Devontae Smith's already probably wide receiver 1 on this team?
Well, he better as hell sure be wide receiver 1 because he's the most talented wide receiver this team has had in some time. But yeah, I mean, they did have that year at Alabama together or whatever, and you would think that would translate in however much they met over the offseason together to work together, and they met after practice today. But the thing that you said, he went to him 3 straight times in the red zone, and that's just that familiarity point. Like when Wentz just used to just go to Ertz all the time in the red zone, he was that he knew where he was. I think it's the same thing with Devontae Smith. And just the Devontae Smith point real quick, I love that he's battling one-on-one with Darius Slay all throughout training camp. Today you heard Darius Slay gets a pass breakup on 1 play, 2 plays later, Devontae Smith gets some separation, catches a touchdown pass from Jalen Hurts. I think that's huge that both of them get to work against, in my opinion, I know some people are down on Darius Slay, but in my opinion, one of the better corners one-on-one in the game.
Yeah, and I love that him and Slay were talking after practice.
Yeah.
How can I get better? What can I do to beat you next time?
Exactly.
And I also love that Slay is willing to take that role on. Slay could be gone next year. Slay doesn't have to impart advice on these young guys.
Yeah.
And he's still there, doing that. So I love it. Devontae Smith, wide receiver 1, hands down, rookie of the year. If it wasn't going to a quarterback, which it always goes to a quarterback, obviously. JD, thoughts on all this Smith-Hurts connection?
Yeah, you're the college football guy. How does that Alabama duo go here?
Well, first of all, let's look at it. The top wide receivers that come out the last couple of drafts have all been from Alabama. So it's no secret that these guys have some type of chemistry. And then, everybody goes home to work out. Everybody goes and, play 7-on-7. They do that as they come through. What I thought was really surprising is that not that he went to him 3 times, but that he was able to go to him 3 times. And this is a veteran, corner. And, everybody's worried about his size and him being too small and not being physical enough. But if you're going to somebody in the red zone, there's a lot of pushing, holding. It's a beast down there. So to have Devontae Smith have that confidence to go to him 3 different times in the red zone or 3 times in a row lets me know the confidence not only that Jalen Hurts has in him, but maybe the confidence that Sirianni has in him. And to be honest, he's the best route runner out of this draft class. And that's saying a lot because it's out of Jamar Chase and all those guys, but he's the best route runner in the entire draft class. And that's including Jalen Waddle. He ran routes better. Jalen Waddle's just a pure athlete. So from the college game perspective, I think I've been saying this since the beginning. I wouldn't be surprised if he's our next. Well, I'm gonna say because I do like the Eagles. I think that the Eagles
damn well better. You're coming on this show again.
Listen, all I'm saying is that the Eagles will have another 1,000-yard receiver, and if it's not this year, definitely next year.
Absolutely. Yo, Mustaine is on a roll.
I love Mustaine. Jason's my man.
Ready to go for this season.
On this show very soon.
Oh yeah.
So I got 2 points to bring up on that there, JD. You can go first if you want. Whatever. So Vince brought up how during the press conference, post-practice press conference, Sirianni talked about why he didn't bring the rookies in early, like is customary with other teams. So, and we already talked about how that was good. It's something different and unique from Nick Sirianni that you don't hear about from other teams. What you also don't hear about other teams, you guys both said those connections in the red zone, Hurts and Devontae Smith. That's how they start at practice in 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s. That's not how you do it. And he was asked about that in his press conference, and he said, well, it's the first day of camp. A lot of people blow their hamstrings or get tight ankles or whatever because you start stretching the field the first day of practice, and all of a sudden, players aren't ready. They're not stretched out enough. They're not ready for that kind of thing. Plus the excitement that scoring a touchdown, even if it's just in practice, brings to the team and the energy level. I thought that was another very interesting point that Nick Sirianni brought up in his press conference and that we see at practice. JD, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, Sirianni might be a savant. He might be a genius. Either he's a genius or he's the dumbest dude alive. It's either one or the other.
It's one too extreme. It's one too extreme.
I do agree with you, Phil. I agree that it's like in basketball, seeing the ball go through the hoop, it makes you feel some type of way.
It does.
It makes you feel better. And after they didn't see the end zone very much last year, I think any way that you can get them in any way you can get them into the end zone works. I agree with Mustaine about him being a savant. Savants are kind of weird, like outside, like socially. They're socially awkward. Sirianni is definitely socially awkward. So I think that he probably is a savant.
He's not as awkward as you think. Dylan, your thoughts on what I just brought up there?
I think it's interesting. I dog him over some things he says in press conferences, and I did it today because it was very frustrating to watch, and hopefully we get to it because I'll catch a lot of flack for it. But for when he, Scotty had said earlier, he's very good at explaining things and breaking things down and explaining things. And that is something like you said it. You didn't think about that. And I've never thought about that either. Like forget the health, that's kind of not that we think about it, but it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. You don't bring rookies in early because, they already had the mini camps and all that stuff and they're at a disadvantage. But the starting in the red zone and just getting that layup, getting that taste of the end zone from the jump on day one. You guys said it, the basketball references, everything, it's got to feel good and it can only go out from here. It's day one, you already got in the end zone. Let's keep going. So it's definitely very interesting that he, started camp this way.
So let's bring up a question. We're going to get off the agenda for a second. Peanut, my man here, checking in on YouTube. And again, if you're watching on Twitter, make sure you click follow. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you click subscribe there. The more people that join the DSM media movement, the better. We're taking it all over. Do you think, guys, that this team will go more up-tempo, fast-paced offense with this influx of younger playmaking talent? I don't know if it's going to necessarily be that way. I think Nick Sirianni has proven – with his competition statements and things that we've seen in just one day, that it's going to be a week-to-week design of the offense. Which team are they playing? Whether up-tempo will work, whether it won't work, whether running the ball 30 times will work, whether it won't. I really, truly believe Nick Sirianni is going to break down each week individually and adjust his offense each week.
So what I'll say is, I do agree with you. I think hopefully he can learn to adjust week to week and what's working and in game and what's not working. I wouldn't say up tempo as in the guy who should not be named used to do in 2012, 2013. But what I will say is I think up tempo in quick hitters. I think the Eagles are going to have a lot of long drives on scoring drives, meaning he's going to try to get the ball into playmakers' hands, into the running back's hands early. So a lot of 3-step drop, ball out to Devontae Smith, 3-step drop, swing to Miles Sanders, to Kenny Gainwell, the Dallas Goedert screen, stuff like that. So I want to say up tempo as in like the offense is, no huddle or breaking the huddle quick and getting up to the line of scrimmage and snapping the ball, but snap ball out, move, snap ball out. I think that's kind of how you'll see his offense be run early on.
Okay. JD?
I agree with Dylan to a certain extent. I do believe that with the young quarterback, basically a rookie quarterback still rookie quarterback, and then you got a lot of rookie receivers. Like your two best receivers are rookies. I think in theory, I think that they will have to do a lot of under screens, a lot of quick outs, try to make it no third and longs, always third and manageable, a lot of RPOs, a lot of that, like a lot of read options, because at the end of the day, you got athletes. Like everybody on that starting lineup, to be honest, in your skill positions, they're all athletes. Jalen Hurts is an athlete. Everybody, the running backs are athletes, and you have an extra running back with Jalen Hurts. He's an extra running back that you have to account for.
I mean, you say that, I forget whether it was Mike Kay or one of the beat reporters, said firmly, Adrian Killins, the best running back on the team, not really, is for sure a wide receiver now on this team. There's my one Adrian Killins, dig for the week. Not because I have anything against Adrian Killins, but because I have to dig at him every show. So that just shows that it's going to be that short up tempo. It's going to be a short up tempo offense.
Yeah,
runs, screens. I
think tight end screens are going to involve
tight end screens.
There you go.
Wide receiver screens. How many times in the Doug Peterson era did a wide receiver screen get blown up because it was so poorly designed?
A lot of misdirection.
Exactly. You say misdirection. I'll bring it up, and I've talked about this 100 times on my previous network. The Rams last year and a lot of other teams, they don't run a complex offense.
No.
But what they do is they do a little, now you see me, now you don't. A lot of misdirection before the snap.
Pre-snap motion, yep.
It's a lot of dipsy-do stuff before the snap.
I think you're going to see a lot of it, to be honest.
And you're going to see a lot of that, I think, because that's the way of the NFL, and that's how you confuse a defense. Are they going to go here? Are they going to go there? What are they going to do? Now, he's going to be like the Magic Man. You're just not going to know what he's going to call.
I hope so. But real quick to touch on something JD had mentioned, we keep talking about how do you help Jalen Hurts? We talked about the offensive line, run first, pass first, whatever it is, getting the ball out of his hands quick. You said third and manageable. And that's very important. That's something that the Eagles struggled with mightily last year. Doug Peterson, Phil, tell me if you've seen this because I've never talked to you about the Eagles before, the past couple of weeks. Doug was known for first down, incompletion, 2nd and 10, handoff right into the line of scrimmage,
with
3rd and 9, right?
Instead of your running
and
back.
It's 3rd and long every time. 3rd and manageable helps your quarterback out mightily, especially a dual threat quarterback like JD said. I'm not the highest on Jalen Hurts right now, but that guy, you saw it last year in the couple games that he was in. If he gets in a 3rd and 2 to a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, he can use that dual threat ability and pick up first downs with his legs much more easier than he can in a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7 type of situation. So for sure, if you can set him up, they used to do it with Dallas early in Dak's career. Just try to get Dak to 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 type of situations. Do that with Jalen Hurts, man.
So Phil, can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah, ask away. I'm the guest. You guys can interview me as much as you want. Ask away.
I just want to ask you this one question. I know, like you guys, you have a different perspective of it. Watching Jalen Hurts train, because I love watching the kid train. Okay. Like the squats and the deadlifts and all stuff. The kid's strong as an ox. Does that give you confidence in those 3rd and short situations that he can really get the ball over just by himself? Well, he doesn't need it. Sneaks and stuff like that.
I absolutely 160,000% hate seeing IG and Twitter training and jump shoot shots from Ben Simmons and squats from Jalen Hurts. I hate the social media workout. I don't care what you do on social media. I want to see it in the game. That's all I can say about that. And I've been adamant about that for the 2 years I've taken, this stuff seriously. I hate the social media workouts, pictures, images. Yeah. Absolutely hate it.
I think it's a waste
if you don't do it on the field.
Yeah, I think the fact that the kid can squat 600 pounds or whatever it was.
That's amazing.
And like you saw it last year, I think it was the Arizona game when he was able to bulldoze his way from like the 5-yard line and break a tackle into the end zone. It for sure helps. But yeah, I agree. Like it's not something that I'm like, overly enthusiastic about that he is able to do these things. But it definitely helps his running game.
All right, so we got so much more to tap into here, and we're already 44 minutes in. Jason's got a question, so we got to answer his question. Does Miles Sanders have a breakout season? And mind you, I'm going to say Miles Sanders is already technically broken out, in my opinion. I mean, not to Pro Bowl superstar level, but he's already established himself as a really, really good running back in this league. Top 12, top 14, somewhere in that range. But does he take it to the next level, Dylan?
I'll say if there is a year, this has to be the year. I agree. Like last year, he had how many touchdown runs of 70+ yards? He had 3.
And if you take them out, his average rushing yard per rush
but
is not
behind that offensive line, the way Doug used him, the overuse of Darren Sproles and Boston Scott earlier in his career definitely did not help him. But all we hear about is Sirianni loves his running backs, and not even maybe just from a rushing standpoint, but last year he wasn't a great pass catcher. I believe he caught under 50% of the balls Carson Wentz threw his way.
A lot of balls. Some of them were overthrown, but he dropped a lot.
If he's able to, hone that in, and Jalen Hurts, he can get involved that way. I think this definitely is the year for it to happen. If not, I think he's always just going to be kind of that middle of the pack running back that you stated, Phil.
Which you can win with a middle-of-the-pack running back.
Sure.
If everything else works out accordingly. JD, does he have a breakout season?
Yeah.
Or what equates to Miles Sanders having a breakout season, in your opinion?
He don't have to have like a crazy monster year. Like, I think because of where he was and how he came about, Sanders, he played behind Saquon at Penn State. So he never really had a time to shine, really. And then even when they drafted him, it was kind of like, who is this guy? And I watched college, and I really didn't really know because he played behind Saquon. So now seeing him actually get after the injury last year and kind of coming back from that, hopefully we get to see this dude catch more passes out of the backfield. We get to see him be more aggressive because, honestly, if he can run the ball, everything else gets better. Everybody knows that. An effective run game makes everything better. And I'm hoping Sirianni does really believe in that. And Sanders has a great year because I think Sanders doesn't need to have, is it 2,000 yards or something crazy?
That's like the milestone, but like he doesn't need 1,300 yards.
I think George brings up a great point there. Miles will have a good year, but he won't have the numbers you think because he's going to share the workload. Something I brought up on a previous episode, and another comment I want to bring up. First off, the running back room is deeper than people realize. There's going to be some tough cuts made in the running back room. You got Karen Johnson, Boston Scott, Kenny G, you got Huntley, you got
Jordan Howard's back.
So many people. Jordan Howard, Adrian Killens, my favorite running back in football. There's gonna be some tough decisions. He might get, I don't want to say less carries, but less of a percentage of carries if Nick Sirianni runs the ball a lot.
Like, I don't know if he'll get more than like 15 carries a game.
Here's another interesting point, Dylan and JD. You got 17 games this year. That's one more game, more wear and tear. So they're going to have to spread the runs out a little bit more, which is going to actually bring up a topic, whether we get into it this week or next week or another week, that when you build your 53-man roster, you have to take certain positions get worn down quicker than others. Running back's one of them, especially on a run-heavy team. You might have to adjust how many running backs you even carry on the team. So that's Miles Sanders, week 16, 17, isn't running on fumes.
Running back by committee.
Yeah, it's absolutely situationally, as George, brings up right now. Gainwell, Naheem Hines, very good comparison right there.
I'm excited for Kenny G. I am.
Yeah, I love Kenny G. Kenny G might be the sleeper of the draft that we had this year. He's going to be. I believe that by the end of the season, Kenny G is the number 2 running back on this team.
I thought it would be Kerryon Johnson.
No. Kerryon Johnson's had a lot of injury histories in his career. He could be, if he stays healthy, number 2, but he's had a lot of injury issues in his career.
Because he was a number 1 guy, right? Like I feel like Kerryon Johnson
when he was healthy.
When he was healthy, he's a number 1 guy. But now
he's very good in Detroit.
If he's a number 2, number 3 guy, like
Kerryon Johnson to me is more of a guy that will be if Miles Sanders gets hurt, he'll step into the starting role.
Right.
But he's not going to get
as
10,
many
12 touches a game because he's, because of Miles Sanders there. Kenny G is going to be a third down back pretty quickly on this team. We got Kenny G would be a great CFL player. That is an awful. What, do you hate Kenny G get as much as I hate Adrian Killens? Come on.
No, he's just the biggest troll that you'll ever see.
I have no room for trolls. Whether you're part of the DSM team or not, get the trolls out of here. It's a power.
Gant is my spirit animal.
Power of positivity. All right. We're already 50 minutes. I got like 70 more topics on this agenda.
We're good. I got time, man.
It's probably 4 a.m. for George across the pond right now. I don't know how to do the math. You know what I mean? So we got to get to at least a few more Eagles topics before we get to any of the other topics. Got to get to my main poll question of the week, guys. A lot of talk about the coordinators and assistant coaches on this team. Some people are excited for them. Some aren't. You know, what assistant coach, and this is the poll I put out 5-6 days ago. What assistant coach or offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator are you most excited for? Jonathan Gannon, Shane Steichen. I put Jamal Singleton because the day I made the poll, he had a great Eagles hype video about him, and other. After all the votes were tallied, as expected, Jonathan Gannon, 82%. George says it's 2:52 a.m. He's good to keep going. All right, so we ain't going to stop anytime soon, George, all right? You know, so Gannon got 82% plus of the vote. I expected that, but I wanted to see that. Steichen got 7%, Singleton just under 5%, other just over 5%. Dylan, what coach, assistant coach, coordinator are you most excited for? And also, are you surprised by the results of this poll?
No, I'm not surprised at all, and I'm with the 82% that you for the names that you threw out there. And it's not even so much a pro Jonathan Gannon thing. It's just seeing a difference from his scheme. They were running some 3-4 today compared to the sticks freaking defense and Jim Schwartz's defense that we had to watch. And listen, I know a lot, like Jim Schwartz wasn't as bad as Philadelphia fans will make it seem, but he did irritate the hell out of me throughout his tenure here. So it's just, a breath of fresh air. And I'll throw out another one, and it's obvious. It's not like a positional. It's not a linebacker coach, not a secondary coach, a running backs coach, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'm Sirianni just because, if he's going to be calling the shots offensively, just, again, another breath of fresh air, a difference that this offense got so bland.
I didn't say you could talk about the head coach. I said assistant coaches and coordinators, not head coaches.
He's going to be a coordinator.
That, you are the weakest link. Done. Go ahead. JD, let me bring up that really awful 80-year-old reference. JD, which coach would you be most excited for?
I'm more excited for Gannon, and Gannon because he's the X factor. Their team has been really bad, like with the corners and all that stuff. I really want to see what he does with the secondary, how he retools these guys that he's already.
Good job, good work there.
How he retools the guys. I want to see what he does with Kayvon Wallace. He's got Nelson in his disposal now.
This is not a troll question from getting here.
No,
this is a real, legit, comment right there.
Yeah. So now you got a QB, you got CB1, CB2 now, and you're going into it with a guy that I think is a gem. I think Gannon is a gem. I think the world of the dude. I know I might end up eating my words or something, but like right now, I'm super excited to see what he can do. I don't know. I'm just hopeful, man. I'm sorry. I'm hopeful. I want to be hopeful for you guys. My team blows. So
dude, we got some crazy comments coming in here. Gannon cried when they signed Steven Nelson. Singleton looks like the uncle who drunkenly dances to the Spice Girls at a wedding. Jim Schwartz, not as bad as people made him out.
No, he wasn't, but he did aggravate everybody.
Sirianni for his wide receiver coaching ability. Look, all great comments, all great, thought process. And both of you, I'm not surprised. And I think that Jonathan Gannon, even though, as George says, Jim Schwartz wasn't as bad as people made him out to be. And I talked about his numbers on my previous network many times, where his defenses were never as great as people thought they were, but his run defenses were really solid. And he was never really given in Detroit or here, or even Buffalo. He had one good year in Buffalo as a defensive coordinator. He never really had great talent in the secondary. So you got to give him a pass for that part of it. But I'm going to just bring up some other – I just want to, not let people forget about the other coordinators and coaches on this team. Special teams. How bad was our field position last year on punt returns? Yeah. Okay. Michael Clay, bring the assistant special teams coordinator from the 49ers. In 2019, they were second in the league in special teams or in starting field position for their offense. Second out of the league. Not too damn bad.
Hey,
and I want to bring up Brian Johnson, okay? Quarterback coach for the team. We got a young quarterback, okay? A guy that led the league into college football last year in passing as the offensive coordinator for the Florida Gators. Nobody was talking about Kyle Pitts before Brian Johnson got his hands in that offense. And nobody was talking about Kyle Trask. He went in the second round of the Bucs to be the heir apparent to Tom Brady.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Johnson's the one that has known Jalen Hurts since he was a little kid, correct?
He has known Jalen Hurts since he was a little kid as well. So, I want to just highlight some of these other guys. And, Jamal Singleton, I voted for him just because I bought into that cheesy Eagles pre-build hype video that they made, which whenever they do those videos, they're obviously trying to make their guys look good.
Right.
But I want to point out one thing about Singleton, okay? Where was Mixon with Cincinnati in his development before he took over as the running backs coach in Cincinnati? He was busting as a young, promising running back. Jamal Singleton got his hands on to Joe Mixon, and before he got hurt last year, he was one of the top 3 or 4 running backs in the NFL. So he could develop running backs. Miles Sanders, Kenny G, these young guys. Kerryon Johnson hasn't lived up to the hype yet, injuries or whatnot. I don't want people to forget about they put together a young who's who list of guys and gave them a promotion to see what they've got.
Hey, there's no better way to motivate people, young people, than to give them an opportunity. There's no better way. Like it's one thing to say, oh, you can move up and you can do something with yourself, but if you give them an opportunity, you can do. What did he say?
Who?
What did Gint say?
Saying that hopefully he convince Hurts to become a fullback. That's troll comment 101 right there.
I don't know why this dude Gint hates Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has done nothing but win. He's done nothing but win everywhere he's been. I mean,
who's the CEO at DSM Media? Can we get Gint off the team right away?
I think there's a board.
Yeah.
Is there a
the
board of
board's gotta meet.
directors?
There's got to be a board meeting.
Yeah, we got to have a board meeting.
Yeah, you're on
Peace
trial,
out, bro.
kid. You're on trial.
Oh,
but no, just real quick before we move on, a bunch of the things that you touched on, like you brought out the special teams coach from San Fran, and you talked about their field position.
I bet you most people can't even name who the special teams coach for the Eagles is. But for me, I've been saying it. I said it every single week last year in our midweek shows that Greg Ward needs to stop being the punt return. Now, yes, I don't want to see Devontae Smith, who was catching some punts today.
When was Dave Fitblecko?
I'm sorry?
When was Dave Fitblecko?
DeFilippo?
No, Fip.
Yeah, Fip, yeah. Last year, the year before, I don't know. He was bad. Yeah. They were all bad.
That's what I was saying.
He's been awful. Even one of the almost overpriced, highest, we got somebody saying they have a question. Well, put your question up there. We'll dive right into it, Dark Sage 9117.
Please don't be a troll. Please, dude,
I know,
some of these Twitch accounts, they troll, dude.
Yeah, I don't even know what Twitch is. I've never even had the app before.
And you can't remove them either. Just letting everyone know. So we are not responsible for
this. Well, if it's a troll question, I won't put it up on the screen. That's all it is. But special teams have been a problem for many years here. And it's nice to see that maybe, Michael Clay did something. Yeah. So we'll see.
And my theme here is that helps your quarterback. That field position will help Jalen Hurts. So that's kind of my theme here on tonight's show is helping Jalen Hurts out. And hopefully these moves this offseason from the coaching staff to the roster construction does nothing but help Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dark Sage, we're waiting for your question. We're going to keep moving on until you post it in the comment section. But if it's not a troll question, I'll bring it up on the screen. Even if it's only a small troll question, I'll probably post it.
I had a Twitch account. Like ask us if we could walk their goldfish or something. It was.
Hey, so real quick, guys. Like, did you guys watch Jalen Hurts in college at all? Did anybody watch him?
You must not have paid attention to me, JD, very much over the last 15 months.
I'm asking that.
I'm a huge Jalen Hurts fan. I've said it that he did not deserve to lose his starting job to Tua. I still think whether it's with the Eagles or somewhere else, Jalen Hurts probably has a better career than Tua. I'm a huge Jalen Hurts fan from his college days. He got screwed by Nick Saban, in my opinion.
I'm going to throw this out there. There's not – the reason why I say that, and I know you watched it because I've heard you talk about it before. The reason why I'm asking that is because if you watch how Jalen Hurts handled being benched, going to a new school, then going from being a guy who couldn't throw the ball to a guy who was second in Heisman voting for being a quarterback, not changing his position to become a running back or a tight end or something. He legitimately learned from Lincoln Riley. And I think that Lincoln Riley being a young guy, and I know that's the big name that's supposed to be coming next in the NFL is Lincoln Riley.
Almost came to the Eagles.
I honestly believe if Sirianni is the savant that we think he is, he might be able to unlock something in Jalen Hurts and having all this familiarity with his quarterback coach. I think it's a good thing, man.
I think it's a great point there.
I agree. It's going to be interesting. listen, he definitely progressed. JD, you said this the other day. He definitely progressed as a passer from Alabama to Oklahoma. That was the one thing I noticed. No, I don't. I follow the NFL much more closely than I follow the college football, but I've seen him a little bit at Oklahoma. The only thing that I don't get caught up on it all because it's a different level. So as a passer, I just have to see it from a NFL standpoint before I believe in it.
So I will say this from the college guy of the network, from the college guy of the network, the college guy of the network for the top schools like the Alabamas, the Clemsons, the Oklahomas, the Georgias, all these schools like this, the Ohio States, they're playing against
I know
prospects that are like they're going to be in the league. So I do believe that it's not really that some of these Alabama and Clemson defenses have been like great defenses. So I don't know. Like
Gint's trying to backtrack his troll comments here. No. CEO has already voted. You didn't know about it. You're gone. Peace out.
Ooh, hold on, wait. We got to get this one. George is saying he agrees, I think.
Yeah, George agrees sometimes. Yeah, it's okay. Not with Gint.
Me and George agree quite often. Often ever since he trolled me here on Trending last week.
He never trolls. George is not a troll.
He said
George
he never
is
agrees with me.
Passionate Eagles fan.
He said he never agrees with me. And on Turf Talk and on here, we've agreed quite often, okay?
That's good. Hey, that means George is swaying your opinion.
That's progress.
You're trying to make your opinion so George agrees with you. All right, and speaking of George, great segue. You know, George gave me a question, and he wanted it asked on the air, and since you two are here, didn't get it with Vince. You know, maybe I'll message Vince Quinn and see what his thoughts are on it.
We'll make a video.
What's that?
We'll make a video of his answer.
Yeah, that'd be cool and all. So, you know, you talked about it earlier with Jalen Hurts and, you know, maybe if he doesn't, bail out as quickly and all. So George's question is, what equates to success this year? We're in a rebuild, retool. But, you know, we don't need to win a Super Bowl this year to equate it to a successful season. We had 4 wins last year. So, guys, what equates to success for the team, for Jalen Hurts, for Nick Sirianni, for any of the other players on the team? How will you judge and say this season was successful? JD, you can go first.
Well, as a non-Eagles full supporter, I will say 4 games is a little low, is a lot low, for a team. So I think a lot of people are saying they're only going to win 8 to 9 games this year. And to me personally,
many people are saying that.
I mean, I've been reading a lot of places.
Uber positive fans are saying that.
Listen, 8 to 9 games isn't that off, though. I'm going to be honest with you. You're playing 17. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're playing 17. That's not even half of them.
It's 500.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you can win 8 or 9 games, I'm not saying that. I think it's going to be more than that, to be honest with you. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. And I'm not an Eagles fan, and I'm saying that. It's just I've seen the Eagles be the underdog, and I've seen what they can do when nobody sees them coming or nobody thinks they're a problem. And with these 2 young guys, they're a freaking problem. And I think that, honestly, for them, success could be that 8 or 9 mark just because how horrendous they were before.
So you're saying a win total
is
great success for you?
Yeah, like I think the win total and then like how they keep their attitude during the season. Like, as long as there's not no division and all this,
See, I don't believe the win-loss record equates success at all this year.
Okay.
Dylan, your thoughts on this?
Yeah. There's a lot of variables, so it's hard. When you talk about Jalen Hurts, what's a successful year for Jalen Hurts? I think just building off of the things that I questioned this offseason, specifically in the passing game, like how does he look? Does he not bail from the pocket? Does he get more accurate on his deep balls? Does he, can he go through his progressions and his reads quick enough, et cetera? Does he progress as a pocket passer? And can he keep you in games? How does he look in the fourth quarter of games? How does he look at in 2-minute drills, et cetera? You know what I mean? So I think it's small victories for Jalen Hurts to be a successful season. As far as the team, it's weird. I don't think a number, I don't think a win total equates to success. I have them around 7 to 8 wins, but the schedule does favor them. They don't have a very difficult schedule this year. But I don't know. I guess when it comes to Sirianni, like JD said, he said attitude, right? So the Sirianni thing, he's never been a head coach. He wasn't even the offensive coordinator really at Indy. How does he come in here and
neither was Doug Peterson in KC?
Right. How does he come in here and take control of this locker room? Do the players buy into the younger head coach, all this enthusiasm and energy he has? How does he command respect, demand respect, and does it show on the field? I think, it's hard to see that from the outside through a TV screen, but I think you will see it through their attitudes on the field.
So some great comments on this question rolling in here, and I want to address them to help, support my opinions on this. Peanut saying 8 to 9 wins. But that doesn't worry me. Are they not blown out? Are they losing close games? Are they competitive in game? You're losing a bunch of games 42-7. That's an unsuccessful season. If you're losing games 42-37 because Hurts throws an interception or the defense gives up a deep pass, in the final 2 minutes of the game, that's a different thing.
And Gint's comment spot on. It's what I've been saying.
What, Matt?
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing. You need a definitive answer. But a 4-13 season doesn't mean that Jalen Hurts isn't the guy.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
Yeah. Plays too soon.
Exactly.
People forget that Jalen Hurts had percentage-wise as many, if not more, turnovers last year.
Think about it.
Than Carson Wentz. So that's all, how I judge it. Turnovers, bailing out, sticking to the system. And I'll bring that up again. Go ahead, Dylan.
Think about it, though. Like Deshaun Watson, they won what? 4 games last year, and he had incredible numbers and everything. And that he's the guy. You know what I mean? So completely agree. I think Gint would agree as well. It's not, a win total that says Jalen Hurts is good. What if the defense overachieves? What if, people step up and the Eagles win the division with 9 wins, but Jalen Hurts has a lot of turnovers. He doesn't do things well. That's not what equates it. 4 wins, but he looks really good. Doesn't equate it. It's just how does Jalen Hurts look and progress as an NFL quarterback? And you do need that answer by the end of this year to move forward.
I want to finish this topic off, and JD, you can jump in here. But in the Nick Sirianni presser today, he was talking about attack every day. It's my new saying. I'm going to say that every day, attack every day. So I'm going to motivate myself when I go to work every day, attack every day. And just Mr. Twitch guy, we'll get to your question in a second. Dark Sage. It's not a Philly sports question, but it's a baseball question. We'll get into it in a second, so you know.
But there is one thing, though, with Sirianni. I don't want to hear about the attack thing.
Why? I love the attack thing.
No.
Everybody has their thing. People hated Dabo when he came out with All In. Hold
on a second.
No.
That's not even what I wanted to talk about. It's the attack every day. Right after that, he talked about doubling down. I don't know if you guys heard that part of the press conference. When was he with the Colts a few years ago as the offense coordinator? They were 1-5 to start the season, and he brought up Frank Reich. And Frank Reich said to the team, "This is what we believe in. This is what works." Yeah, we're 1-5 right now. I don't care. This is our system. This is what works. This is what's going to get us over the top. We're doubling down on it. We're going to push it even harder. They went 9-1 after that. Finished the season 10-6, made the playoffs. So it's sticking to the system that you have, set up, and buying into that. And maybe the system works out. It doesn't. I don't know. There's a lot that's going to go into that. But the win-losses, 100%. Peanut saying he's going to attack his beer every day.
I like his comment above that one, though.
Yeah.
That's another progression with Jalen.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with it 110%. So, but believing and doubling down and just going all in on what you believe in and seeing that progression, that's what I want to see. And that's all I care about for success. They win 2 games, I'm going to be frustrated. I'm going to be cussing my ass off on this show every single Wednesday night. But you know what? I'm going to deep down inside understand the progression if there's deep down inside things that are happening that show progress for 2022.
Yep. I agree.
JD?
I hear it. But I'm just a proponent in wins. Like if you play right, if you play good, you're going to win. Like you can only do so many things right.
But if the overall talent of the 53-man roster isn't there, wins aren't going to happen. If Hurts, Smith, Kayvon Wallace, and Darius Slay all have Pro Bowl seasons, but the rest of the talent ain't good, you're not going to win games.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think this team is talented. I think you guys are underselling yourself for real. Like I'm being real. Like
I'm not saying. I was just trying to explain the point. I agree with you on that. There is more talent here than people believe.
I don't think people see it. Like these guys are young. Like the cool thing about being young is when you're young, you don't know what you don't know.
Dude, I was young so long ago. I don't remember being young, JD. Yeah, you're right there with me. Dylan's still a baby. He knows what it's like to be young. We're old, man.
Yeah, people are sleeping on the Eagles. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm young, but these Philly sports teams have aged me greatly.
Dude, try being 40. Okay, I have 2 titles outside of this. I don't remember the Sixers '83 title. I was a little baby in diapers. I've had 2 titles. 2.
You know what I was just thinking
Last
about?
life.
Real quick, talking about Jalen Hurts, like finding out if he's the guy. And I know this is so like duh, but health is such a proponent in this year, meaning like this offensive line, like a Devontae Smith injury, something like that, because then like it goes back to last year. How do you judge the quarterback play of last year without X factoring in everything else? So so it's going to be a bumpy ride this year, but hopefully.
Listen, my season started out great last year. I don't know if you know, but I started
11-0, bro. Yeah.
And we looked like the worst team in the NFL by the end.
Let me tell you something. Can I tell you something? And it got brought up on our show, on my previous network a few times. Week 8, you guys went 8-0. You know, I don't have any good connections with my previous network, but there was a show week 8 after that win, or week 9, whatever it was, after that 8th win, that I said that the Pittsburgh Steelers were the most overrated 8-0 team of all time.
Ever.
And I called it right then on the
Ever.
show. And at the end of the season, we had a highlight clip where we pulled clips from our best and worst, call outs throughout the season. And my previous network refused to put that one in there. I'm not sure why, but I definitely said they're the most overrated 8-0 team of all time.
Listen, all I'm saying is don't count your chickens before they hatch, but also don't sell the farm. And I keep saying
I won't make my season predictions till hold on, let me check my schedule here. The September 8th season kickoff show, which is going to be huge on Trending for 4 Quarters. We might have 6 people on the screen. I got so many things lined up for that show. It's going to be huge, big time.
Can we talk about my Steelers at some point in one of these shows?
I will let you talk Steelers at some point, probably in 2027 or 2028.
I'm just saying I'm high on Harris. That's all I'm saying. I'm so happy.
You be high on the how do you say it? Najee, whatever. I don't know. It's Harris. It's RB Harris. That's all I know. All right, we got George. I know you're an Eagles fan, not a Sixers and Phillies fan. We're gonna have 2 quick segments here on the Sixers and the Phillies. Couple minutes each. Got to touch on it. Phillies, first off, guys, that was the biggest blunder of a trade ever that happened yesterday. And George bailing before we even talk Phillies. He's bailing when we bring up the Steelers. The Steelers was enough to make him bail, which is smart man, George. Smart man. George probably watched that show when I said the most overrated team of 8-0 of all time. Phillies blundered the trade. Bryce Harper putting Chris Bryant's name on his bat, or was it Chris Bryant's bat? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is this just par for the course? Or are you surprised that the Phillies are obviously the biggest 500 train wreck there is in Major League Baseball? Dylan, I know you talk a lot of baseball. You can go first.
I disagree. They have. Trust me, I know the holes that they have. They are bad defensively. The back end of their bullpen.
I'm just going to leave this comment up for the rest of the show.
Fine. That's fine. They are the back end of the bullpen. Obviously, with the Zach Eflin injury, that just makes the Vince Velasquez and the Matt Moores and the Spencer Howard stand out even more. The Phillies schedule. It's a fact that the Phillies had the hardest schedule in the first half of baseball. It is a fact that they have the second or easiest schedule in the second half of baseball. The fact that they came out of the first half around a 500 team says something. I know they have holes to fill. You are 3.5 games out from making a pennant run. You do not sell. I understand that people think that they will not win a championship, and that's fine. Baseball is a momentum sport. And you buy. You don't. I'm not saying you go out and sell the farm, but you buy. Everyone
you don't have a farm to sell.
Well, dude, the reason I got so mad earlier is because Rafael Marchand was put out a rumor to be sold yesterday in a trade, and Phillies Twitter is up in arms as if we didn't just sign JT Realmuto.
I heard your comment about that before. I get that, but the Phillies. See, the thing is, the Phillies aren't 1, 2, 3, 4, or saying 2 moves away. They're not 2 moves away. They're 4 moves away from contending.
No, that's not true.
Maybe they can win the division, but what does winning the division really get you as a team? It gets you some extra playoff money and 1 playoff game ticket sales. That's all it really does. The Phillies need 2 starting pitchers.
That's true.
They do need 2 starting pitchers.
You have 2
Matt
starting
Moore,
They need one. Zach
Moore
Eflin.
and Vince Velasquez are in your starting rotation.
Zach Eflin will be back, and you only
So that's
throw
your
4,
starting third pitcher.
and you
First
throw
off,
out 4.
We haven't done enough shows, and we don't have a lot of time to deep dive into it. Zach Eflin is extremely overrated, just so you know.
I understand.
And you are
go
overrating him big
you
time.
go, no, I'm not. But if you go out and get a Jose Barrios type of pitcher right now at the deadline,
Yeah,
Zach
absolutely.
Eflin moves down to your 4, and that's okay enough to make a run. And then
because you still have Matt Moore, Vince Velasquez. It means you're losing
because
every
you're not,
5
but you're-
games guaranteed.
No, but you're not throwing them out there in the playoffs. And you said a one
Doesn't matter, you still have to get to the playoffs.
right, but you're 3.5 out from a Mets team that has DeGrom issues right now. Francisco Lindor is out for like another month and a half, and they're coming back down to earth. You're doing a disservice not to at least try. Later, George. But and my point is they are 2 moves away, because if they go out and got a back end of the rotation guy and they somehow, and I'm not saying these are the moves they're going to make. I don't know how they land Craig Kimbrell, but they went out and got a Craig Kimbrell. Yes, they can compete because it's such a momentum sport. And when you look at these rosters of the San Francisco Giants, the Milwaukee Brewers, the Boston Red Sox, the teams that are 18 games over 500, 20 games over 500 at the top of the MLB, if you put them next to the Phillies in a 5-game series, because that's what they would get against the Phillies, because it wouldn't be a wild card, it'd be a division round, a division win. The Phillies have a chance with that lineup and a top 2 of Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola.
First off, Aaron Nola is having an awful season.
I agree.
Day games at home.
I agree.
Which is every 3rd Sunday. Okay. So outside of that, Aaron Nola's having an awful season. Eflin is not a good starting pitcher. He's an okay starting pitcher.
But if
he's
your
a 5
4th guy.
He's a 5th guy on a contending team. Okay. Just going to say that. You need a closer. You need another bullpen guy. You need a left-handed, a left fielder or a center fielder. You need 3-4 moves to even. Yeah, and I know I got a lot of people saying you make the playoffs, it's all good. But what's making the playoffs if you're trading pieces that you barely have to just make the playoffs? You're not going to contend. You're not going to win anything in the playoffs this year.
I'm not guaranteeing that they do, but baseball, to me, I keep saying it's a different sport than hockey or basketball. In a 7-game series, normally the better team wins. Baseball is different. With this lineup, with a top 2 or 3, if you went out and got a 3rd starter, you have a chance. So, I mean, we are on different pages. But my thing is, listen, the Phillies, the bullpen's a joke.
I'm going to leave this one up for the rest of the night.
That's fine. The back end of the rotation's a joke. I understand that. They are a 500 ball club through and I know it's past the first half now, but they had the toughest first half of the season schedule.
Absolutely.
That doesn't equate a joke. Like the joke part is too far. If you live and die by them every night as we do as fans, yeah, you're going to get sick of it, of the 500 ball club.
All right. So
I got to cut you off so JD can get in on this conversation here.
All right. So
he's been chomping at the bits to get at it here.
I mean, you guys forget I actually hosted Diamond Talk before they hosted Diamond Talk. That's actually my
is it your show and they stole it from you?
No, I got like 5 shows, dude. I can't do everything.
Dude, I wish I had 5 shows. I do 15 shows a week if I could. My wife might divorce me, but I do 15 shows.
I get it. And I can kind of see both sides, I can kind of see both sides. I don't want to sell. I'm always big on never selling the farm. People are just too easy to give it up. I'm just going to be honest with you. We're not selling the farm. We're only a couple games out of the thing. Let's just give it our best shot to see if we can make it. What's the worst that can happen? You make it? Like, what's the worst that happens? You make it or you don't? Like, I say this about my wife all the time. I say she could have told me no 15 times, but as long as I got 1 yes, I'm in the game. So all we got to get is 1 yes. Let's let him play.
Listen,
I can make some really lowbrow jokes about that comment, but I'm going to ignore it.
I want to wrap up this Philly segment by saying I love Mustaine's comments, and I can't wait to get him on one of our shows and one of my shows. But
if you need a baseball or a hockey talk, I mean, he's great at football and basketball too.
I broke down
Jason's the man. If you haven't watched his show, check out Sports and Metal. I'll actually be on his show tomorrow night, Sports and Metal, 9 p.m. on their page.
Listen, if Jason gets to say that Devontae Smith could be Jerry Rice, and you can win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts just as much as you can win with Deshaun Watson, I get to say that the Phillies can make the playoffs. That's how this works.
They can make the playoffs, but I'm saying they're not most likely going to because their team is just so poorly run. I'm going to end this segment on one thing, and you guys don't even get to comment on it because it's a really bold statement.
That was a fun
and we haven't had enough baseball talk amongst the 3 of us. So you don't really – I don't know if you've seen these tweets and these comments I made on previous shows. The Bryce Harper with the JT signed shirt that he used to wear and now the Chris Bryant bat. I said the day they signed him, I did two things. I said, yes, we signed him. And then the next thing I said was, he's not going to make it to year 5 if the Phillies don't make the playoffs. Just so you know, we're going to end it there. He's going to grumble and get pissed off eventually. He wants to win more than the money. Why he took less than, average salary per year that he could have gotten elsewhere to be here because he wanted to win.
Probably expected the owner to go over the cap, but that doesn't happen.
Yeah, well, stupid money is stupid money, but it hasn't been spent. All right, one quick final segment, guys, before we wrap this thing up. What?
I said quick.
Yeah, we don't do quick here. I love to talk. You love to talk, Dylan. JD loves to talk. The comments are rolling in. Again, DSM Media, make sure you're tapped in. Draft night in the NBA is tomorrow night.
Let's go.
First off, before we even talk about Ben Simmons in the draft and the trade possibilities, can anybody else agree with me that it seems like the draft is way too soon after the NBA Finals? I had no time to digest anything and figure out anything. I don't even know who's projected to go 3 through 10 tomorrow night. I don't even know who the Sixers have worked out. I get just way too quickly.
I'm with you, especially because I feel like as Sixers fans, it took us about 2 weeks to a month to fully recoup from what happened in the Atlanta series. And then just like that, season's over, it drafts here. Yeah, I know Cade Cunningham's probably going to Detroit. I know Evan Mobley somewhere in the top 5, probably top 7.
So Jason did check in one of our group chats or my private chat with him that there is some rumors that the Pistons won't take Cade Cunningham.
I don't buy it.
But it's not going to happen. But he said, dude, in Detroit, you listen to Detroit radio. You follow Detroit Pistons like he does, Jason Sullivan, my Fairway to Heaven co-host. Cade Cunningham will be the number 1 pick tomorrow night. There's literally no
some
chance
happiness
it goes any other way.
for Jason too. But yeah, I agree. It snuck up so quickly.
Yeah. Again, do you agree with that, Dylan or JD?
I mean, I don't think it matters. I don't think this draft is that good.
It does matters.
It doesn't. Because this draft.
So here's the thing, and this is actually transitions into the Sixers thing. It does matter, JD.
Because the Ben deal. Yeah.
Ben Simmons is the big, thing hanging over the Sixers. A team is more willing to trade for draft picks than they are for already selected players because they're going to want certain players with those picks. And I know the 28th pick doesn't have a huge amount of value, but it has some value in the big picture of these trades and these drafts.
So this is the worst draft in the last 5 years.
I think it's the worst draft since the Evan Turner, John Wall year.
It's that bad. Like I'm not
absolutely.
That's why I do not care.
Cade Cunningham is on the John Wall level of number 1 overall picks.
So, Phil, I want to throw one thing out today with the rumors because the Ben thing did start to really heat up today.
Because it could happen that's what I want to talk about. Will Ben Simmons get traded by 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. tomorrow night?
So what I'm saying, did you see the reports that Morey wants a handful of first-round picks and blah, blah, blah? I'm backing your point. I'm backing your point now because if that is the case, if that's what he's looking for, I think then he try to turns those first-round draft picks or if they're future first-round draft picks into a superstar because that team will want first-round draft picks over.
They don't want our players. They want first-round picks.
Right.
That's exactly. That's why I want 2 more weeks of off season before the draft because there needs to be a little bit more time for this all to marinate. You got the Olympics going on, so people are focused on that. Awful. I mean, they did cover the spread today, the 40.5 spread today. Team USA. They did have. I don't know what the final score was. I turned it off when it got to 57-point lead or something like that.
They played the School of Deaf and Blind today. Get out of here.
Team Iran. Dude, I don't know if you guys are wrestling fans. Are either of you wrestling fans?
WWE?
Yeah, WWE stuff.
I used to be. I mean, I haven't.
Right. So, dude, whoever number 15 was on Team Iran looked like Jinder Mahal, to a T. No lie. Anybody watching the show, Google search number 15 for Team Iran and look at Jinder Mahal. Dude, that was as close as the Lane Johnson Triple H comparison I made earlier today on Twitter. Dude, let me tell you something. There was a huge comparison. Anyway, we need more time to make this Ben Simmons trade happen. If picks are going to be involved.
I agree.
You're not getting it. These dudes are trash. And I'm going to be real. Like you said it perfectly. This is one of the worst drafts.
What year was John Wall drafted in?
Ooh.
That was the Evan Turner year too. What was that, 8 years ago? 9 years ago?
Yeah, 2011, 2012.
I don't even care at this point.
Is that not their team name, Team Iran? I think that was their name there, Peanut. I think they were Team Iran that the USA played today.
Listen, I
don't
want to put up Kent's comment right here. It's 2021.
2021, I got you.
Okay, so who came out of 2020? Melo,
Wiseman, and Edwards.
Those guys are going to be good. I know against them, they're going to be good. These dudes that are about to come out of this draft right here, we might be looking at like, okay, well, hopefully they go to the Pistons. The only thing that good that happens to the Pistons, they get somebody like this because they ain't got nobody else anyway. Anything that's better than what they got. So
Cade's the headliner, and then there is a definite drop off after one. I mean,
look, I won't lie. I don't know this year's class because I
know Jalen Suggs, the kid from Baylor is supposed to go. The guard from Baylor is supposed to go pretty high. Evan Mobley is supposed to go pretty high. Listen
to this. The guy that was on all the magazines to be the big guy in college this year is Garza. I don't even know who's even interested in the guy. Like, I can't even tell you. So
Luka Garza is the definition of college basketball.
He's Tyler Hansborough.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to get into college basketball.
Yeah.
My opinion on college basketball for my Twitter followers, longtime Twitter followers, they know I hate the NCAA, football, basketball, all of it. I think it's the most corrupt organization in all.
How do you feel now?
What's that?
How do you feel now after the
they
NIL
get
stuff? And
I hate it.
Really?
It's ruining it.
Did it get money?
I lost. There's so many scams. I just hate college. I hate NCAA. I love the fact that they're allowed to make some money now, but the whole super conferences thing happened in football. Hate it. Hate it. Hate it.
So can I ask you this real quick, Dan?
Oh man, we're gonna go another 35 minutes here.
We're not gonna go another 35 minutes because I think it's pretty much yes or no. If you like the NFL and how they treat their players, how can you hate college?
What? They're getting paid in the NFL.
They're now getting paid in college.
Yeah, I know.
they're not getting paid.
But I see in NCAA. I hate how the NCAA is controlled by the boosters of the colleges, by the millionaires that support these colleges. How college basketball and football is controlled by the top 0.5% of people that are involved in it, and that's what my problem is.
Who is Jerry Jones?
Jerry Jones, but see, the football could kick. Technically, if Jerry Jones did something egregious, NFL could kick Jerry Jones out of the Cowboys. I mean, it's hypothetical, and it's he's so powerful in the NFL, it probably couldn't happen, but he could be kicked out of the NFL. So the way college and the bribes and the cheating and all the scandals, I just hate it. And yes, I hate it a little bit less if they can go make some money, but I still hate it. And I hate it.
I'm just gonna say this, and I'll be done. I promise.
Okay.
If you don't like the college game because certain people get money or whatever,
I love the college game. I don't like the NCAA. I hate the NCAA.
Right.
Not the college game.
I hate the NFL for that same very reason.
No,
because I feel like they treat the players like they own them. Like it's not like the NBA. It's like not the NBA is.
We might go another 40 minutes here because let me tell you something. I've said it before. I think the owners in the NFL and the NFL players in general get screwed the most because it's the only sport that doesn't have guaranteed contracts.
Yeah.
So a player holds out, they could be to get more money, and they're fine. They can be cut, whatever. But the owners, if they don't like the player anymore, they can just cut him and only pay the guaranteed portion of the contract. And I've said that 100 times on shows and on social media before. I get that whole aspect of it, but it's a job, it's a business, and all. They're adults when they're in the NFL.
Well, you're also being paid millions of dollars regardless.
What's that?
You're also being paid millions of dollars regardless compared to college football where you weren't.
My opinion might change slightly over the next year or two as this whole pay for the images and the likenesses goes about. But on the flip side of the equation, my opinion has been based off of my last 20, 30 years of watching the NCAA and watching guys like Calipari and what's his name from Louisville, the coach. Why can't I say his name? The basketball coach, legendary guy from Philly area.
I know.
Why can't I think of his name? Anyway, you guys know what I'm getting at. These guys have abused the system.
Pitino,
Rick Pitino. They've abused the system for so long, and it drives me nuts, and it's driven me nuts for 20 plus years. And then the whole super conference things start coming up, and that I stopped watching college basketball when the Big East stopped the Big East. when all these teams start leaving the Big
yeah.
East. I just don't like it.
Listen, I agree. I agree with you about the corruption part. I just don't believe that at the end of the day, like you can't get because everybody's not going to get paid in college. Like they're just not. If you don't have any,
and that's unfair too about the whole paying those kids. Hold on, let me put my college hat on. I got my Widener University hat.
Well, they're not getting paid.
Widener University
allowed to make money.
Are getting paid.
They're just allowed to make money off of
endorsement.
Yeah. But what I will say, the whole plan, because this used to be a big debate when I was in school, when it was like, should college athletes be paid and blah, blah, blah. And, obviously college athletes feel like, yes. The issue is what people don't understand is obviously what brings in all the funds, all the cash flow, the NCAA tournament, college football, everything like that, Division I schools, everything like that. You can't just pay Division I athletes. You have to pay Division II and III. You can't just pay the powerhouses. You can't just pay the basketball team because they bring in everything. You would have to pay every athlete, male and female, every sport at every school, Division I, II, and III. And that's why everything – I agree with you, Phil, but that's why paying athletes was never an option.
See, I don't know about you guys. What you know about, I know you guys, a little bit here. But, big-time schools pay their students. If you're a super smart kid, I knew this kid in high school. Hold on, I have a high school hat here somewhere. Let me switch my high school hat. Devon Prep up in Valley Forge here. There's a kid there who's one grade ahead of me.
Where are you getting these hats from?
I've got like 20 hats behind my computer for all different situations. Just so you know, I've switched my hat 5 times tonight. I don't know if you've noticed that. I switched my hats up throughout the show. Got a couple golf course hats up here. I got all different stuff up here. Cruise lines, you name it, I got it up here. All right. So I went to Devon Prep, Matt Unifauf, he was 1 year ahead of me. Super smart kid. He got one question wrong on his SATs. He was so smart, he proved the SAT boards wrong that his answer to that one question was actually technically right based off of his thing. That's how smart he was. So when he started applying to schools and colleges and all, schools offered him money. So he got full rides to different schools. He went to the University of Delaware instead of MIT, Harvard, and all these schools because the University of Delaware gave him a full ride plus $300 a month so that he didn't have to work while he was there. Why was that okay? But it's not okay for athletes to make money.
Well, I'm gonna be completely honest. So I have a different because I played Division I. So
I know you did, and that's a break. I don't want to go 45 more minutes on top of the last 40 minutes, but I want to hear your opinion on this.
So there's always the handshake after the game.
Absolutely.
There's the infamous handshake that you hear about.
Which, can I interrupt you for 1 second? If nobody's ever heard, back when the Mike and Mike show was on ESPN, I don't know if you guys heard when Mike Golick was asked about this exact situation. With the brown paper bag with $10,000 dropped in his kitchen trash can at his house in high school. If you guys haven't seen that or heard that, you should try to find a clip of it. It's intense hearing that conversation. Sorry, JD.
So even with recruitment, like recruitment is wild. Like you have like these top guys come in at the time when I got recruited. Oliver Purnell showed up at my house, and he was a coach at Clemson at the time. So it's crazy to you. But then like after the games, like I didn't even play. I got hurt. And I would still leave walking out the arena. We win a game, good game, handshake. And we can go get some J's. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I see it from both ways. I understand it. The people, and then there's some people in college who are living on somebody else's couch or sleeping in their car. So there's 2 sides of the coin. I just need people to understand that at the end of the day, this is good for football. This is good for college football, good for college basketball.
Yeah.
It's absolutely good. I'm not saying it's not good. But I just want to say before this happened, my opinion has been formed up until this moment.
It's the NCAA.
I haven't had time to adjust my opinion to the new rules going forward.
They never had to pay. It's like
how do we get on this? Because we were talking. I wanted to talk about Ben Simmons for like 3 minutes, and now we're on this. JD, we got to do like a whole entire show.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do it.
Yes. One of your UFO shows or whatever. I need to do an entire show on this because it really gets me. I don't know. It really upsets me a lot.
I'm gonna hold you to it. We'll write it down. We'll put it in the books.
Yeah, we'll put this in the books. So real quick before we wrap the show up, because this is actually I've been doing Wednesday night shows other than the 1 week that I had no network to be a part of for 15 straight months. I have never passed the hour 20 minute mark. We're at an hour and 34 minutes right now. Ben Simmons, does he get traded tomorrow night? Yes or no, Dylan?
Nope.
No, JD.
Yes.
I'm 50-50. I can't break the tie on this because I have no idea. I hope he gets traded tomorrow night. I think you get the best return on him if he gets traded tomorrow night.
Right. He's gone, man.
He's gone no matter what. Absolutely.
The cryptic text and everything that has been coming out so far, and the way I think if he saw Joel Embiid in person right now, he might hit him. You know what I'm saying? So,
or Joel Embiid might hit him. I don't know.
Joel Embiid better stay away from Ben Simmons. He from Australia too.
Before I wrap this shebang up, Dylan, anything to add to Eagles, Sixers, Phillies, Flyers, college, golf, Olympic golf going on right now? Anything at all? Anything to add to this show before we wrap it up?
Not that I can think of, man. I mean, guys, if you're hockey fans, the Flyers are making noise right now in this offseason.
They're making some great moves,
and it's exciting. And I know some people are upset about some of the moves, but they're doing what people always want in the city, and they're going for it. It seems like so. It's going to be a fun hockey season.
JD, any final parting second moment thoughts here?
Look forward to this college show. Don't forget about the tailgate.
I'm going to plug the tailgate. Don't you worry. I got my list. See, I don't forget to plug anything, guys, because I write it all down so I don't forget.
And we have a special episode of UFO tomorrow. I think you all should tune in. It's going to be real fun. It's going to be a real hoot.
Any special guests or just the normal crew tomorrow night?
Normal crew, but we got something that's going to be a banger, man. We ready.
I can't plug it because I'm going to be on Jason's Sports and Metal show tomorrow night. So I'd rather people tune in my Sports and Metal appearance. No, I'm just kidding. Tune to both. You can watch one live. You're normally like 7:30, so it'll be over by the time we go live at 9 o'clock.
I'll be back live at 5 o'clock tomorrow.
5 o'clock tomorrow. So we're gonna get into all the shows. Thanks again to Peanut, Jason, George, again, all the people that tuned in tonight. Muchas gracias. Greatly appreciated. I'm kind of disappointed in Peanut. He didn't offer me any money to say something really stupid on the air for my charity. That's normally his go-to. He didn't do it tonight. A little disappointed. Hopefully next week he tunes in with something like that. Again, Eagles tailgate, as JD said, August 22nd. Free tickets to Eagles practice going to be given away. Devontae Smith or some kind of a jersey giveaway. Free beer, free food, pizza from my pizza shop. We're going to have everything at this event. Tune in, live show for 3:30, some point around there. We'll be in the parking lot tailgating live. We've already reached out to a bunch of media people. I tried to tag Brandon Graham tonight. Maybe try to get somebody to come out. Doubt it happens, but we're going to try. I said no trolling. Sorry, Peanut. You can always troll, Peanut. Peanut's the only one allowed to troll because his trolls are funny. Again, Dylan, JD, George, Gint, Jeremy, Scotty, me, Jason, Team DSM. 8 great shows a week. More to come. We're here. We're taking over. So make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. Make sure you click that subscribe button. Turn notifications on. Twitter, following, Twitch. I don't know what you do on Twitch. Do you subscribe? Do you follow? I don't know anything about Twitch. I don't know what Twitch. I don't even know what our Twitch handle is. What is Twitch even? I don't even know.
Follow us gamers. It's like a streaming. It's like a streaming thing.
I don't care. Just follow us if you're on Twitch. That's
follow
all.
Us on TikTok too.
We've got Faithful Fanatics. We've got Turf Talk. That's Dylan shows. We got UFO. Occasionally Sneaker Savant down here for JD. We got Scotty Talks. We got Diamond. What's it called?
Diamond Talk.
Diamond Talk. We got so many great shows. 8 great shows. We're doing post-game live shows live right after Eagles games once the season starts. So make sure you're tapped in. DSM Media, do something major. Hey, guys, before I run this go out thing here, there's this exit video. It is, like I said, it's Eagles season, guys. Can we get one big Go Birds?
Go Birds!
Birds!